Healing minds, inspiring voices, living truth, making choices. This is your space. Just be you, authentically peculiar with Marcia. Welcome to a space where healing is real, where your voice matters and your truth is enough. With authentically peculiar. Season 5, the year of expansion, healing deeper, living louder, stepping fully into who you are. Authentically peculiar with Marcia.
Welcome back to Authentically Peculiar with Marcia. I am so elated to have my guest today, Miss Anne Marie Emmanuel. She is currently in Trinidad where they're experiencing a blackout. So we're doing this real fast and we're going to get us some good information in, but I want to be conscious of how life shifts on us without us being really aware and in control of the shifting. So let me share some things with you about Anne Marie. She is a Trinidadian American entrepreneur, a life coach, a philanthropist, and a transformational leader who is dedicated to helping others discover and align with their purpose. She is the founder of Deshire Incorporated, a custom fashion design company, and the visionary behind charitable initiatives that support children and underserved communities across Trinidad and Tobago, as well as Sierra Leone. With 27 years of service with the U.S. government, her leadership experience in community development and training, Anne Marie has empowered thousands worldwide through personal growth, self love, and transformational coaching. So I'm going to throw this in here real quick. I want you to run to her website that I'll give at the end of the book and grab this book, Relationship Shift, because I am telling you, it is going to change so much about where you are and who you are. So, Anne Marie, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's my pleasure to be here with you. I am so excited because I know when we met, we decided that we're going to do this. And I was traveling all over the place. So finally, here I am. It's my pleasure.
Finally, we are here, and that's my permission to say I'm coming to Trinidad. I got to set up some
Yes,
time to come and
yes,
just enjoy the beauty of the island. Today,
yes.
we are talking about love, purpose, and alignment. And because that is right in your line, in your niche of who you are, from someone hearing your story for the first time, what does love, purpose, and alignment really mean to you?
That's a really good question because I think it's so perfect, the title of this conversation, because of what I do. And what
Mm-hmm.
I love about it is that it's in the correct order
Mm-hmm.
because love, then purpose, then
Mm-hmm.
alignment, or
Yeah.
love, then purpose equals alignment.
Mm-hmm.
So, as a self love coach, I had to get to that place of understanding what self love really means.
Mm.
And I have a saying that to live life with passion is to know your purpose. And to
Yes,
know your purpose, you have to know self love. So that
absolutely.
resonates so much with the work that I do and
Yeah.
in the order of which it comes.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. You know, a lot of people are talking about self-love, but a lot of people don't define self-love. How do you actually define self-love?
And that is so true what you're saying. That's one of the things that I observed. Well, first of all, I didn't even know that I was suffering from lack of self love
Mm-hmm.
until I had gotten to a place where I was so low.
Mm-hmm.
And I basically had to surrender to the universe. And
Mm-hmm.
the universe said, "Oh, now you're ready to listen."
Yeah.
And then it came. It's a long story, but basically, that's how it came to me.
Okay.
And so self love is that foundation by which we are connected to our heart, our
Mm.
body, our mind, and our spirit,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I tell people that there are four things that you need to know about self-love. First, self-love is a choice. It's a
Yes.
choice that you have to make. It's a moment by moment choice that you have to make every moment, every day that you
Mm-hmm.
live, right? And I don't mean
Mm-hmm.
like saying, okay, I choose self-love and then continue living. I'm
Right.
talking about moments where you are stretched, where you are triggered, where
Mm-hmm.
you might be driving and you're cut off by a mad person and you just
Mm-hmm.
want to get back at that person,
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
have to stop yourself and ask, what's the most self-loving thing I can do in this moment? Because
Mm-hmm.
anytime you lower your vibration to match other people's low vibration, you're stepping out of that foundation of self-love.
And
So
giving
that's
them
the kind
permission
of
to have power
choices.
over you. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the kind of choices that you have to make, moment by moment choices. Then self love as a daily practice.
Mm-hmm.
So it is something that you have to set up as a set of daily routines, whether it's for
Mm.
everyone, it's different. So
Mm-hmm.
whether it's meditation, prayer, taking time off for yourself, spending little moments out in nature, whatever it
Mm-hmm.
is for you. And when I do my work, I work with my clients and we set up a set of daily practices that they
Yeah.
will be doing, right? So
Okay.
self love as a daily practice. And then once you're doing those two things, self love becomes a state of being. And that's what you want to
Mm.
work towards. Self love
Mm-hmm.
being a state of being where everything that you're doing is set in automatic, because the way we live, the things that we do to prevent us from loving ourselves is automatic. Those
Yeah. Yeah.
automatic programs happening in the subconscious,
Mm-hmm.
those are the things, it's already automatic. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to think about self sabotage. You don't have to think about self bullying,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or those
Mm-hmm.
negative self talk that comes right in. You don't have to think, it just happens. It's automatic because you have been doing it for so long
Mm-hmm.
and it's automatic. So, the same way with self love, you have to create situations where um, it becomes a state of being. It becomes who you are as a
Mm-hmm.
person, and
Mm-hmm.
you're creating new neural pathways so that the things that you have to do would be automatic.
Yeah. Creating those new
And
habits. Mm-hmm.
yeah, so I tell people that when you choose it, you practice it, you
Mm-hmm.
become it, right? And um, that's where you start to begin to live life from that frequency of self-love.
Oh, I love that. Those four areas. You get to choose self-love. You get to practice self-love. You get to exist, and because I had to take notes, in a state of
Yeah.
being and
Hmm.
self-love, and then you put it to practice. I
Yes.
love that. So, as you thinking about that with those four steps, so many people know what they do, but they don't know who they are. How do you help others discover the who am I when they're working with you?
Yeah, I love that question because a lot of people think they know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And I had participated in a program, a world leadership program. And one of the things that they said is who you think you are is not who you are.
Right. Mm. Say
Who
that
you
one more
are,
time.
yeah, who you think you are is not who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Because who you are is a set of automatic behaviors, a set
Mm-hmm.
of automatic programming. 95% of who you are is
Mm-hmm.
automatic programming, subconscious patterns,
Mm-hmm.
and subconscious behaviors, right? So
Mm-hmm.
when you start to do the work with me and start to discover the um, the things that's running, the programs that's running underneath, right?
Yeah.
Uh, then you start to realize that, wow, that's not
Mm-hmm.
who I thought I was, wasn't who I was.
And it's
you
usually
know?
somebody else's story that's dictating
Yes.
who you think you're supposed to be. And that starts very early, from childhood
Very good.
on. It's that transference of idea of, excuse me, I remember being told, you're the bad kid, you're this person, and you're that person. And it was everybody else's story until I bumped into me and that self awareness and self love. You're absolutely right. We have to shed that.
Yes.
How do you help people shed that idea of purpose through alignment and self love and getting back to the saying, I don't owe these people what they say I was. I owe me who I know I am. How do you help them do that?
Yes. And before I answer that, I want to add to what you're saying because
Hmm.
sometimes even in the programming, we were taught it's not always negative.
It's not
It could
always
be
negative.
something that looks
Hmm.
really beautiful, like,
Hmm.
you are a doctor, you are meant to be a doctor,
Hmm.
and so on. And so we would go through life reaching for things that we think would satisfy other people. And it's
Hmm.
usually it's not always negative, something
Hmm.
negative. Society tells us that we are supposed to do this or we are supposed to be a certain way, but you may follow through with that pattern of, oh, I'm going to be a doctor, and it sounds prestigious, and you might have the ability to study and become a doctor, and then find out when you're a doctor that, who am I?
Exactly.
Right? So for me, I was accomplishing so much. I was living the American dream, mind you.
Hmm.
I was accomplishing, and it seemed like everything I touched turned to gold. And people saw me as someone who always succeed, right? But on the
Hmm.
inside, there was this inner lack going on, and I didn't even know that,
Yeah.
right? But all of
Hmm.
that wasn't who I was. All
Hmm.
of that stuff really wasn't who I was. That was things that I was doing to be accepted and for
Hmm.
validation from outer society,
So,
right?
how did you bump into your true self with all these expectations, with things turning into gold every time you touched them, it was going right? How did you actually bump into your true self?
So the journey of me leaving my good government job to
Mm-hmm.
return to my home country after 44 years
Mm.
is actually, I didn't know it at the time. I just had this yearning. I was called to pay attention in that world leadership program I told you about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I was called to pay attention to what's burning inside me. And I always
Mm-hmm.
wanted to move back and make a difference in the lives of the citizens here. So in that program, I was able to understand that before I would say, when I retire, I'm going to do that. But we don't know how much time we have here. And one of the things that that program gave me is living in the now and being able
Mm.
to say, you know what? This is my dream and this is what I want to do. And that's how I was able to walk away from my good government job, pack up
Yeah.
everything and come
Mm-hmm.
back here. Now, of course, on the heroine's journey, it's not a smooth journey. You go
Not at
through
all.
those stages, right? First, you
Mm-hmm.
have the calling, then the denial, and the dark night of the soul. So I
Mm-hmm.
experienced like numerous dark night of the soul moments when I got here, whether it was, all of the challenges, the setbacks,
Mm-hmm.
culture shock, chauvinism, non-acceptance by my own people, all of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I kept pushing through. I kept pushing through. I kept using the tools and the distinctions that I learned in the leadership program. And I kept moving forward. But I never really took the time to deal with the emotions of things that were happening to me. And as I kept
Mm-hmm.
going, I just kept, I like to use the word being strong and resilient.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to be careful with strong and resilient because
It
sometimes
could be a
that can lead
burden.
to burnout,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's what happened to me. I had reached that place of burnout and fighting and just completely exhausted of
Mm-hmm.
having to keep going, keep doing. to prove myself. I didn't think I was doing it to prove myself. I just thought that that was life. And when I got to that low period, I
Mm-hmm.
felt like I didn't even want to exist anymore. And I never thought I would get
Mm.
there,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you know?
How did you
And
bounce yourself out of that place of saying all of these obstacles um, that are happening is driving me to a place where maybe I should give up. Maybe I don't want to be here. Maybe this isn't the right journey. How did you turn that around for yourself?
because I remember that pivotal moment where I was sitting, I take long walks on the beach in the morning, and I was actually sitting on my favorite meditation rock.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what happened. It was just after I had the grand opening of my center and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And family came in, and when they left, I found myself in that place of loneliness all over again. And then I started
Mm.
realizing all through my life that I always end up alone. But I didn't know that
Mm.
that was something that was running me, and that that was a story that I had in life. So
Got
in that
you.
moment, I broke down. It's like everything came pouring out because
Mm-hmm.
I just started hysterically bawling and don't even know why. Right. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, that's the exhaustion, that's the burnout, that's the not paying attention to your emotions and shoving them under
Mm.
the rug and keep going. That's everything came down to on me in that moment. And I
Wow.
call it my moment of surrender. And
Mm-hmm.
it's also like the shift that needed to take place, because that's when I heard distinctly a voice saying to me, look around you, you're in paradise. And if
Mm-hmm.
you can't be happy here, you can't be happy anywhere else. Right?
Wow. Mm-hmm.
And then I also heard the song The Greatest Love by Whitney Houston playing in
Mm-hmm.
my head.
Mm-hmm.
And the distinct part of the song that says, learning to love yourself is the greatest love of all. And if by
Yes.
chance that special place that you've been dreaming of leads you to a lonely place, find your strength in love. And then
Mm.
that's when it came to me that no matter what's happening, no matter what the external circumstances, if I'm not sitting in love for myself,
Mm-hmm.
then
Where
nothing
am
is
I
going to
sitting?
matter, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I kid you not, like 1 week after that moment, I got an invitation to take a self-love certification course.
Oh, wow. Wow. And it's the surrenderance in that process and recognizing that resilience doesn't mean that you have to not feel. It doesn't mean
Exactly.
that you don't need support. Resilience is, I believe, just a part of our character buildup that gives us the permission to keep going. But in that keep going, we have to check in with ourselves. How am I actually feeling without a mask on? How am I functioning in this place where I can be my true self? So, question for you.
Exactly.
Would you say that as you gain experience over and over, that your purpose continues to evolve, or is purpose just a bottom line thing?
But what I would say to that, Marsha, is in going through the process that I went through,
Mm-hmm.
and the biggest shift was doing that self-love course, because
Mm-hmm.
that taught me that, first of all, I was living life, the lack of self-love that I was living life with, and what it
Mm-hmm.
really means to love yourself, what it really means to honor the desires of your heart, to take care of your
Mm-hmm.
body, to make sure you feed your mind with positivity and so on, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things that I understood about self-love is when you remove the things that get in the way of self-love, then
Mm-hmm.
you get back to that frequency, which we were born with.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, some of us are going to look for self. You don't have to. We are self-love.
Yeah.
But when you remove the things that get in the way, the self-sabotage, self-bullying, all of those things, you
Mm-hmm.
get back to a frequency, and then you get aligned. Your conscious state becomes aligned to your subconscious state, because most of those negative things that's running us happens in the subconscious.
Yeah.
Right? That's why we're not aware of it. That's why we don't do anything about it. It's an automatic,
Mhm.
remember?
Yeah, because we
So,
become familiar with
right,
that self-sabotage. We become familiar
yeah,
with that negative degradation of who we are, and that
right,
reconnection to the source, to the power,
yeah,
to the spirit brings us that space of being awake
yeah.
and
And then
becoming one with
we
us.
think, we start thinking that's who we are. That's why I say who we are, who
Hmm.
we think we are is not who we are. We start believing that that's who we are, right?
Right.
Until we
Right.
strip it. But the most important thing is once you clear out all those things, the work
Hmm.
that I do is to hold my client's hand and walk them through a process where we clear out all of those things, which starts with the first of all the triggers, the thing that triggers you into
Hmm.
those behaviors, the negative thoughts, the storyline that you carry, the toxic habits that you have
Hmm.
because of it, right?
Hmm.
And once you get to understand what's happening below the surface and clean that out, then you become, your subconscious starts aligning with your conscious state. And once
Yes.
you have those two states aligned, you automatically elevate yourself into a super conscious state or a higher
Mm-hmm.
vibration,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's what it takes. And that's why um, I love working with my clients and seeing them remove those things
Mm-hmm.
that get in the way of them loving themselves and start loving themselves intelligently so that they can start living their purpose and aligning themselves to the source of the universe. It's such a beautiful
Yes,
thing.
it's such a beautiful space. How do you help someone to really understand how alignment shows up in relationship with themselves and even their significant other?
Yeah, because in relationships, see, when you are operating, so first I would like to explain that the methodology that I use
Mm-hmm.
is based on a philosophy that we have 13 different archetypes or personality
Mm-hmm.
types running through us as
Mm-hmm.
human beings. It doesn't matter who you are, what your level of success, money, whatever, gender, every one of us have those personalities, at least three
Mm-hmm.
of those 13 personalities running us. The personalities operate from fear
Mm.
because they came about when you were about 3, 4, 5 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we were not born with a personality. There's
Mm-hmm.
no baby that was born and looked over to the next bassinet and said, "Oh, he's got more hair than me,"
Right.
right? You
Mm-hmm.
develop, you learn that it could have been a negative comment from a teacher, or a
Mm-hmm.
comparison or criticism from a parent, or a judgment from a friend or group of people, whatever. But that's when your personality starts coming into place as a way to protect you from
Mm-hmm.
feeling whatever. Because in your little 3, 4, 5 year old mind, it's like the sky is falling on your poor little head,
Right.
right? In some cases, it could be something really traumatic as uh, uh, sexual assault or a loss of a loved one or something, but it could be anything, a simple statement from someone that
Mm-hmm.
causes that personality to jump into place. But we spend the rest of our lives listening and having that personality um, run the show for us.
Yeah.
So whenever you're triggered, it's like, okay, you sit back, I got this. I got
Mm-hmm.
this. I'll take care of
Mm-hmm.
that. But the personality is always operating from fear. And if it's operating from fear, whenever you're operating from fear, you are never self serving. It never serves you. You're never
Not
in
at
that
all.
frequency of self love. It's the complete opposite. So,
Absolutely.
yeah. So, when the personality is in charge, you are always living life in fear, right?
That's such
So,
a beautiful way to say that. That
yeah,
fear is the director of your personality until you make the choice.
The
to be
choice.
in self-awareness and in self-love, recognizing that
Absolutely.
fear will come in and try to infiltrate your mind, but you don't have to choose it. You can literally tell fear,
Exactly.
going about your business.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, that's
And
beautiful.
so that's why it's so important to understand how this personality in you operates, how it got there, what
Mm-hmm.
is it trying to protect you from, what is the motivation behind it, and most importantly, Marsha, what it's costing you to
Mm-hmm.
stay in that place of living life unconscious in unconscious fear. Because if you, some people say to me, "Oh, I'm not ready to do that yet. That's deep work." Because they are
Mm-hmm.
afraid. Now, that's a different kind of fear. So I tell people, either way, you're going to be in fear.
Mm-hmm.
So why not let the fear that you're feeling work for you, because it's going to produce so much more positivity
Mm-hmm.
and
Absolutely.
success, real
Wow.
success that brings fulfillment if you go into doing the work that you need to do. Because either way, you're going to be living in fear.
Mm-hmm. And the
It's
fear of
just
the
you
unknown
choosing.
or the fear of the known. You just got to
Exactly.
identify which one of these am I going to allow to direct my feet to a
Yes.
place where I'm aligned with my purpose through love
Right.
and relationship with myself. What advice would you give to someone who fears disappointing others and that fear is stopping them from being their true self?
Well, again, it goes back to the personality, because once they understand where the thought is coming from, because what you
Mm-hmm.
just described there is one of the big fat lies that the
Mm-hmm.
personality forces you to think. And
Mm-hmm.
in the work that I do, that's the second stage of exercise of investigation that we do. We go through a process where the person discovers their big fat lies that they've been
Mm-hmm.
telling themselves, right? It's usually we come up with about 5 statements, and I'm talking about statements that they use over and over again
Mm-hmm.
automatically. So if you are one of those good girl personality types that
Mm-hmm.
don't know how to say no, or just doing things because you don't want to disappoint other people,
Mm-hmm.
then most likely when you take the assessment, you would show up as one of the personalities of a good girl. And you would get to
Gotcha.
understand the modus operandum, the
Mm-hmm.
big fat lies that it forces you to think, the
Mm-hmm.
toxic habits of you probably just constantly making yourself small, not showing
Yeah.
up for yourself. All of those things runs with the good girl personality. So you see the awareness of understanding all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Then, when you look at what it's costing you to not make the change or to continue on that path,
Mm-hmm.
then
Mm-hmm.
I think that is when my clients, their eyes open and say, I have to stop this.
Yeah, because when you realize that you're paying a debt that's not yours,
Yes, there's a
it
payoff
changes.
for every one
Yeah.
of those personality traits. There's a payoff.
Mm-hmm.
There
And,
is a
and and
huge payoff.
And that cost can even show up as your body breaking down. That cost can show up as your mind breaking down,
Yeah,
and you want to ask yourself, is that a price that I want to pay,
really.
without operating in my true self? So for every listener, what would you want them to walk away with as a truth about being in a space of self-love, understanding purpose, and an alignment? What would that message be for them?
My message is always to tell people to build and cultivate the relationship with yourself
Mm,
before you look to cultivate a relationship with anyone else outside of
mm-hmm,
yourself, or before you even look to create or build something for yourself. That
yeah.
relationship with yourself is the most important thing, and the only way you can develop and cultivate that relationship is to do the work. Do the work. You
Mm-hmm,
either hire a coach or do a program that
mm-hmm,
teaches you about self-love. There are lots of different ways right now because
Mm-hmm.
I would say since the pandemic, self-love has become like a household word. I remember when I first started this in 2016, people looked at me like, that's woo-woo stuff, you know?
No, anything
Yeah,
that goes outside of the institutionalized norm, they call us
yes,
woo-woo, they call us crazy, they call us peculiar, they call us different,
yes.
all that kind of stuff that they put out there. And then they come back and have to sit with us so that they could get to the woo-woo stage
Mhm.
when
And
they recognize.
I'm thankful for the pandemic, for I saw that shift taking place in society where people are
Mm-hmm,
starting to understand the importance of self-love and the importance of pouring into yourself
mm-hmm,
first, you know,
absolutely.
um, filling up your cup and then giving from whatever's left in the saucer, from the overflow, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I feel good, but still people are still, it's we're a lot closer to it, but there's still a lot of work to be done. So I
Mm-hmm,
would tell people, don't be afraid to be curious,
mm-hmm,
to build awareness. There's a lot of things
yeah.
you can do just to become aware, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
And then that would start observing yourself.
mm-hmm,
Look at yourself, those little things that you do to observe yourself. Look at
mm-hmm,
yourself. If there's sometimes you have a message, an unanswered message, and you are confused as to how to respond, or should I call back, all of that.
mm-hmm.
Look at yourself, and see if you have the need to explain yourself to people, especially people who have no interest in understanding what you're trying to say, right?
Absolutely.
Look at
Yeah.
when you're in a relationship, pay attention to what your body's telling you when the other person shows up in the room or the other person speaks. What sometimes when just someone pulling up makes you feel a certain way.
Hmm. See
Right?
if your body is sending off signals. See if your heart is
Yeah.
beating faster. If your mind is like, oh my goodness, not them, and all that kind of stuff. Those are things you need to be aware of. And then
Yeah.
you're right, asking the question, why am I having a physical reaction to this person calling, to this person
Mhm.
coming over, to this person standing near me? Find out what that is. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Until we get to learn our bodies, our responses, and our triggers, we're still pretty far away from our own self awareness and that space of self love. Wow. So let me ask you this question. Answer this for me. The moment I truly began living was when I.
The moment I truly began living is when I discovered the unstoppable force of self love. When I learned how to align the three states of my being, and
Mm-hmm,
it's a work in progress, okay?
mm-hmm,
It
mm-hmm.
is a work in progress. It's a lifetime work in progress. But that moment when I chose that that's the direction I'm going to live my life in, that's when I started living this amazing, wonderful life that people say, oh, you're lucky. Everything. No, it's not that I'm lucky.
You still
It's
got to
that
work.
I work. This is the
Mm-hmm,
work that I do.
mm-hmm,
And that's why it gives me so much joy to guide others into doing it, because it's
mm-hmm.
also a memory reminding myself
Yeah.
when I guide others. So it is my life's work right now.
Mm-hmm. Operating in purpose is truly a life's work. So let me ask you, how do you resonate with the term authentically peculiar?
I love the term actually. I thought I would never think of something like that. So I wanted to
Uh-huh.
ask you how you came up with it. But I resonate with it. I I am living in my authentic self right now.
Mm-hmm.
After doing the work of self-love, I emerged as an authentic version of myself. And of course, I think there's some peculiarity that goes with that because
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like I'm the average person. And when I
Yeah.
go to certain places, people stop me. You have a light about you. There's something
Mm-hmm.
about you.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't quite put my finger on it. And then people see me living life to the fullest, showing up the way
Mm-hmm.
I'm supposed to, being
Mm-hmm.
confident and taking chances and doing things that I want to do. And that's not the average person. So
Not at
I
all.
am living life unstoppable
Mm-hmm.
and extraordinary, right?
Yes.
So, and that
Yes.
to me, some people think I am peculiar because of that.
I
And
love that.
yeah,
I love that. I love getting the answers to those questions about how you resonate with being authentically peculiar. And all of my guests pretty much are saying the same thing. I don't put myself in a box of normalcy. I'm outside of the box. I'm living my purpose. I'm living that alignment. So with that being understood, tell us about Passion Kairos.
Passion Kairos is my company that I started in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a wellness community designed to help and assist others in living passionately and on purpose.
I love it. I love it. Now, do
Yeah.
you run retreats there in
Yes.
Trinidad? And
Yes. So
okay.
at the center, this is the project that I worked on when I moved back to Trinidad, Sharon's
Uh-huh.
Grace Enrichment Center.
Okay.
I had no idea what I was going to do with this center. I just knew that I had a calling to come here.
Mm-hmm.
It's by the beach. It has the most beautiful view. It's immersed in nature, birds, and all of that. So when the building was complete, I that is when I experienced that pivotal moment in self-love. Because before
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was just going to get people who are experts in different fields and have them come to the space to
Mm-hmm.
um, to as a resource to give back to the community. And the universe had different plans for me. It said, no,
Mm-hmm.
you are going to be the
You're
one.
the
And
one. Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's when. So when the building was completed, now I have a purpose for the space. So it's a multifunctional building. I
Okay.
run an Airbnb service here.
Mm-hmm.
I do my workshops and seminars, and I've done 3 international women's retreats since the building was completed.
I love it. So, can you tell everyone, and we're going to talk offline because I really immediately my head said, let's do a retreat in Trinidad. But can you tell everyone how they can contact you, how they follow you on social media, and just all of those different things?
Sure. So I do have a website. It's
Mm-hmm.
www.passionkairos.com. So that's PASSION
Mm-hmm.
KAIROS
Mm-hmm.
dot com. And
Awesome.
all of my social media handles is at Passion Kairos, at sign PASSION KAIROS. I can be found on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
So get out there, follow Anne Marie right now. Don't forget to go to the website and grab a copy. Let me see if I can get this aligned. If not, I'm going to make sure that I put
There
it
it is.
on the book. But Relationship, it's a beautiful, beautiful book that really encourages you how to shift the relationship, not only within yourself, but with others as well. So go out there and grab that book. Anne Marie, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. I pray the lights get turned back on very quickly and that you continue to spread the beauty of self love, self preservation, purpose, and alignment as you are purposed from this beautiful planet and through source to give that back to community. And as for the rest of our audience, as you go throughout the day, remember self-love is your anchor to who you are and aligning with your purpose. So in all of your getting and all of your doing, don't forget to live authentically and know that it's okay to be peculiar. Thank you for tuning in to this episode. Make sure you stay tuned to all future episodes and don't forget, go out there and check out Anne Marie under at Passion Kairos on all social media handles. Have a great day. Thank you for sharing time and space with us today on Authentically Peculiar with Marcia. Don't forget to like, comment, and share the podcast with everyone that you know. In addition, go out and support each of the guests and their own social platforms. Buy their products, leave them a comment. We'll see you on the next episode of Authentically Peculiar with Marcia.